Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we talk about 10 horror movies from this year that I think are perfect for the Halloween season. And with that, let's get to the list.
Everyone is going to love me.
Grafted is a 2024 horror movie directed by Sasha Rainbow. It stars Jess Hong, Joanna Sun, and Eden Hart. A bright but socially awkward exchange student takes her cravings for popularity to horrifying heights.
Your father's a scientist.
Was.
This is a very fun one, and I wanted to kick this list off with something that was a little more light, not something super heavy and dark. We have some on this list that'll kind of fit in there, but this one is just body horror. It's gross, it's gory, it's weird, uncomfortable. It has science gone wrong elements, so it's that sci-fi horror meets a little bit of comedy, not comedic, but definitely lighthearted in its approach. It is serious, but it's also kind of a little tongue-in-cheek, a little campy, and just a tinge of silliness, so it gives it that fun charm. But this isn't anything to overthink. I think it's just a really fun time, so definitely check out Grafted over on Shudder.
What is that?
Until Dawn is a 2025 survival horror movie directed by David F. Sandberg. It stars Ella Rubin, Maya Mitchell, and Peter Stormare. A group of friends are trapped in a time loop where mysterious foes chase and kill them in gruesome ways, so they must survive until dawn to escape it. Here's one that I feel like has gotten a really bad rap this year. I do understand why, but listen to my reasoning why I do think this is a fun one. I understand if you're a big fan of this game, this movie's not going to work for you. That makes a lot of sense because it isn't faithful to the game, so you feel like it breaks the rules and it doesn't live up to what it could have been based off of your experience with the game. But as someone who didn't play the game and just saw this as a fun little popcorn kind of horror movie that hit theaters, I gotta say, I think it's a great time, and especially for this time of year. It has all of that creepy haunted house vibe to it, the look and style and everything about it. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it's not anything that's gonna change horror or a game changer or anything like that, but it is a fun teen meets haunted house, haunted attraction kind of horror movie. A lot of the creatures look fantastic. There's some really interesting and fun kills in it. The premise and setup, they do a good job with that. Even if it isn't faithful to the game, as far as a movie goes, it does work. And I think the cast does a really good job working with what they had to work with here. So is it perfect? No. Is it gonna make people that are into the game happy? No. But if you're a casual horror fan just looking for something fun to watch for the Halloween season, I'm telling you, you definitely need to check this one out. Rosario is a 2025 horror movie directed by Felipe Vargas in his feature directorial debut. It stars Imran Tabia, David Desmoulin, and Paul Ben-Victor. Rosario spends the night with her grandmother's body while she waits for the ambulance to arrive, but soon she is attacked by otherworld entities that have taken control of her grandmother's body.
You must be the famous granddaughter. I could hear her through the walls, praying and praying for your dreams to come true.
What the hell were you into?
This one just baffles me. It blows my mind that I am not hearing more buzz about it. Yes, it's campy. Yes, it's a little bit silly and over the top and all of that. But that is what I think makes it so much fun, because it has that Hispanic Mexican flair to it, where the things are turned up, kind of like Bollywood is in a way, where everything is over the top and much more in your face than we do in a lot of American films that are more subtle. So with that being said, it reminds me in some ways of Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness or Drag Me to Hell. It has that over-the-top practical gore, the weirdness, the grossness, the throw up, the blood, the fluids everywhere, just all that zany, weird stuff. But then on top of that, this movie gets evil. Like the props, the set design, the location, the way they make that all look is great. I mean, it really is creepy and cool and interesting to look at. So with that being said, this is a small movie, so you got to keep your expectations in check. But I think as far as one for this Halloween season that you haven't seen, and almost no one has, this one's an absolute blast and definitely one to add to your list. Clown in a Cornfield is a 2025 slasher horror movie. Directed by Eli Craig, it's based on the 2020 novel of the same name by Adam Cesar and stars Katie Douglas, Aaron Abrams, and Kevin Durand. A fading Midwestern town in which Friendo the Clown, a symbol of bygone success, reemerges as a terrifying scourge.
Clown on all the Bay Pen corn syrup labels. He's practically a local legend.
There was quite a bit of buzz about this when it first came out, and then it just kind of died down. And I really don't understand that, especially now that it's available on Shudder. It's one thing when it was in theaters, because I think it got hyped up a little more than it deserved, because it is a small kind of film. But for something that's on Tubi, man, this one's a lot of fun. And once again, is just drenched in that creepy, atmospheric, spooky Halloween season vibe. I mean, there are tons of scenes that are in a cornfield, for God's sake. I mean, it's in the name of the movie. Like, this is a very Halloween, autumn, fall time of year kind of movie that really scratches that itch, I think, really well. On top of that, it has some fun twists and turns. It's not exactly what it seems like it's going to be on the surface. It's not as simple as just a slasher, just some killer clown running around killing kids. There's more to it than that. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you exactly what happens here, but they definitely take some turns with that. And so if you're not a big fan of slashers, you might be surprised and actually end up really liking this one. So if you've yet to check out Clown in a Cornfield, I think it's one you definitely should give a look.
We have to look on the inside.
The Home is a 2025 psychological horror movie, co-written and directed by James DeMonico. It stars Pete Davidson, John Glover, and Bruce Altman. A troubled man starts working at a retirement home, but realizes the residents and caretakers harbor sinister secrets.
You know, you've got interesting eyes.
Here's another one that has very much slipped through the cracks, but I think it's a blast, especially the final act of this movie, because for the first 2/3 of it, it's just okay. It's interesting enough to keep you engaged, and I think Pete Davidson does a good job with what he's working with. But it's mostly just kind of setting up this creepiness, this moodiness, the atmosphere, and trying to figure out what is going on. So it's very mysterious in the way that it builds and slowly builds the dread and tension and all of that. But then in the final act, this feels almost like a totally different movie, and it goes completely off the rails into insano world, and I think it's amazing. But if you like gory, weird, over-the-top, gross, campy, bizarre horror, then this is one you definitely need to keep an eye out for.
I love you.
Vicious is a 2025 horror movie, written and directed by Brian Bertino. It stars Dakota Fanning, Katherine Hunter, and Mary McCormick. A woman spends the night fighting for her existence as she slips down a rabbit hole contained inside a gift from a late-night visitor.
I'm gonna start. What? This will be for you now. You are going to die tonight.
What are you talking about?
Unless you give it what it wants.
So I just got back from Fantastic Fest. This is my first official video that I'm shooting since I've been back. And I'm exhausted, but I'm excited also for the Halloween season. So I'm pumped to do this video and just talk about some of the ones that you will be able to see very soon in this Halloween season that are included on this list. And this is one of them. This movie takes place at Christmas time, so it will kind of work between now and Christmas really well, but it's horror enough and it doesn't have this overly Christmas vibe that you're going to feel like, oh, this is only a Christmas movie. Because this movie gets so uncomfortable, so creepy, so dark and twisted and demented. I love it. It's what I love the most from Brian Bertino, because The Dark and the Wicked is one of my favorite horror movies that nobody seems to really know about from the last 10 years. It's that good. It's dark and demented and twisted and all of those things. And this has a lot of the same bones and DNA as that. The way it looks, the way it's shot, the feel and atmosphere, the way things build. It just has a very similar energy about it. And Dakota Fanning is just phenomenal in this movie. She is so incredible at conveying emotion. This is one of my favorite performances I've seen from her in quite a while, probably since I saw her in Brimstone. I mean, that's how good the performance here is. But there's also some other surprise characters that come along the way in this that are fun to see and interesting. And if you're a big horror fan, you'll probably recognize them as well. But this movie just kicks so much ass, but it also is very disturbing and deals with some really dark issues about depression and being at a point where you're contemplating self-harm. I mean, that's what this is really at the core. The base of this is what it's dealing with and what it's talking about. But it doesn't forget that it's a horror movie and doesn't get preachy. It is still entertaining, interesting, and thought-provoking the entire time. But this one will come out on Paramount Plus on October 10th. I wish it was getting a theatrical release because this movie, in my opinion, is that good. It deserves one. So definitely keep that marked on your calendar because I think this one is definitely worth checking out. Strange Harvest is a 2024 mockumentary horror movie. Directed by Stuart Ortiz, it stars Peter Zizzo and Andy Lauer. Detectives are thrust into a chilling hunt for Mr. Shiny, a sadistic serial killer from the past whose return marks the beginning of a new wave of grotesque crimes tied to a dark ritual. I talked about this back when it was in theaters a month or two ago. I can't remember exactly when, but man, this movie hits hard. It is so uncomfortable, so disturbing, and easy to get lost into believing that what you're watching is a real documentary and that you're watching real news clips. They do such a phenomenal job of editing it together and shooting it in such a naturalistic way that it really does feel like the real thing, like an authentic documentary. But when they go for it, holy hell do they go for it. I mean, they don't hold back. They show you some really grotesque imagery, some really haunting and disturbing things that feel as real as any kind of found footage, documentary, mockumentary kind of horror movie you'll see. And it gets extremely bleak, extremely disturbing, very uncomfortable. You have to be a fan of watching true crime, in my opinion, because this feels so much like a Netflix documentary on true crime. And so, like I said, you get lost into it. And so if you can't watch that kind of stuff, this is definitely one you might want to shy away from because this really goes for it hard. Beyond that, the killer in this is fantastic. And I really hope we get sequels because this is a horror slasher icon, in my opinion. I think that it would be really cool to see him going forward. Just his ritual, the way he does things, why he does things, the mask, the tie-in with these other elements that are not exactly grounded in reality. I don't want to get into, but yeah, this movie goes off the rails and it takes some twists and turns and really surprised me, especially in the final act. So definitely do yourself a favor this Halloween season and check out Strange Harvest.
Riley.
Shelby Oaks is a 2024 mystery supernatural horror movie. Produced, written, and directed by Chris Duckman in its feature film debut. It stars Camille Sullivan, Sarah Dern, and Brendan Sexton III. The plot's about a woman's desperate search for her long-lost sister, but she falls into obsession when she realizes the imaginary demon from their childhood may be real.
Today we're taking our first foray into the abandoned town of Shelby Oaks.
Here's another one that I saw at Fantastic Fest. I had such a great time with this movie, and it was very cool because I was able to talk with Chris Duckman for a few minutes, really kind of let him know how much, as a fellow YouTuber, because that's how he got his start, as reviewing movies, just like what I'm doing here, but let him know as a fellow YouTuber how proud I am of what he's done. Able to take this and take and make movies. I mean, he made a real movie, and this is a really, really well done movie. Now, I am a little bit afraid that the hype machine might get its hands on this one, and people might be slightly disappointed. But I'm telling you, if you just keep your expectations in check, the way I did and the other people I was with, we had a blast with it. It's creepy, it's haunting, it's disturbing. It has some very eerie and downright scary moments in this movie that actually got me. I mean, it really had me on the edge of my seat. But the best thing about this movie, and it's hard to even explain and put into words, is how much it feels like the perfect kind of movie for this season. Just the pacing of it, the atmosphere of it, the look and style, how it has this mysterious quality as you slowly go down this rabbit hole of crazy, wild, supernatural elements. Like, it really feels so much fun for the Halloween season. But it really makes a lot of sense because Chris has watched so many horror movies, and then every Halloween he does his own special on his channel. He actually, at the time I'm recording this, he did a video today. I haven't watched it yet, but he always does a special Halloween themed, series of reviews, and he's done some movie elements kind of attached to those over the years. So he's very practiced at making Halloween feeling type of horror, and he just really hits it hard with this one. I also really like how it does something interesting in a way that I haven't really seen done before. The way it starts out showing you all this found footage kind of stuff and setting up the story through found footage, and then goes into a traditionally shot normal kind of movie. And so it blends the two, but it blends them so seamless that it really makes sense. It doesn't feel jarring. It's not weird like you might think it would be to go from one style of shooting to another. But it sets up this fantastic lore and this creepy online culture way that if you've lived with the internet for any length of time and have followed these different online stories like creepypasta or anything that deals with online horror, this fits so well into that, and it really uses that to its advantage. But I think this movie is just a lot of fun, and I can't wait for all you guys to see it. It hits theaters on October 24th, so definitely get out to a theater. Help support a small indie creator trying to make his dream happen, as well as watch a really entertaining, well-done horror movie. Black Phone 2 is a 2025 supernatural horror movie, directed by Scott Derrickson and written by Derrickson and Robert C. Cargill. It's a sequel to The Black Phone from 2021 and stars Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and Ethan Hawke. As Finn, now 17, struggles with life after his captivity, his sister begins receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and sees disturbing visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp called Alpine Lake.
You killed me.
All right, you're going to hear a lot of mixed opinions and reviews on this movie. And I think a lot of it is it's one of those things. If you were absolutely in love with the first movie, like it was one of your favorites that year, then this one may not be, like, you might not like this one as much. I think you'll still enjoy it to a certain extent, but you're not going to be as blown away by it as someone like me was. But in my case, I liked the first, but it wasn't like any kind of blow my mind. I don't even think it made my top 20 of the year. I mean, I liked it. I had a good time with it, but it didn't blow me away. This movie did. This movie is absolutely one of the most fun, entertaining, heart-pounding, creepy. It was everything I believed this franchise could do, because as I say that, I really believe this is going to be a franchise. They are going to make a third one of these because the grabber is so amazing in this movie. And this is another one that I saw at Fantastic Fest, and getting to hear Robert Cargill right in front of me talk about the movie in the crowd of people, like the whole entire thing, hearing him and Scott Derrickson just talking with all of us about this movie and about what they were looking and trying to do, and just talking about film in general, really added a layer of uniqueness and interesting quality to this as well. But what was even more interesting to me was to hear them talk about how the idea of this wasn't them. They did not plan to make a sequel to The Black Phone. It was Joe Hill. Joe Hill came along and was like, hey, I got an idea of how to continue this story. I really have this strong idea of what we should do. And they heard it and they were like, yeah, this is awesome. Let's do it. And so they made this movie. But I love the direction they're going to go in this. And I understand that this might lose some people because it's much more over the top. It's not grounded at all. It's much more in that supernatural realm where everybody's kind of got powers to a certain extent, and you're fighting in and out of dreams and things like that. So it has a very Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street flavor to it. But it's doing its own thing enough as well. Like, I don't feel like it's ripping off Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just using something similar, but then adding its own flavor and its own seasonings to that steak. But either way, I mean, if you go into this with a critical eye, I'm sure you're going to have problems with it. But if you just go into this looking to have fun, I mean, holy crap, it's a blast. It is really, really good, and I especially am in love with the look and the way Ethan Hawke performs as the grabber in this. He feels to me like he's unleashed. Now he can do anything, say anything, move any way he wants, and he's really able to be as creepy and scary and as menacing as he can come up with, or him and the team can come up with. And I just was there for every single second of it. But this hits theaters on October 17th, and I'm telling you guys, buckle up because you're in for a great ride. This one is so much fun. VHS Halloween is a 2025 found footage anthology horror movie, with segments directed by Brian M. Ferguson, Casper Kelly, Madeline Pitt Norman, R.H. Norman, Alex Rose Perry, Paco Plaza, and Anna Slavic. A collection of Halloween videotapes unleashes a series of twisted, blood-soaked tales, turning Trick or Treat into a struggle for survival.
Dude, are you saying this? Where are we?
So I had to put this as my number one pick on this list. I'm not saying it's better than The Black Phone or Shelby Oaks or any of the other movies on this list, to be honest. But if you're wanting something Halloween, you're wanting something that makes you feel as festive as possible and want to get candy and want to dress up and just live in that Halloween moment, this movie is perfect. I mean, I had such a blast with this movie. It was so cool because when they presented this at Fantastic Fest, people were dressed up in these, like the people that worked there were dressed in these old-fashioned like sheet ghost costumes, handing out candy. They were giving us, hold on, let me grab it real quick. They were giving us these bags. Let me grab it real quick. They gave out these Halloween, VHS Halloween bags. And then they were giving us candy. So we were literally trick-or-treating as we were walking down the halls. And that's just, I mean, it's just so much fun. And then the entire time behind me, the row behind me, was the directors and the cast, and just getting to hear them talk about the movie, you know, like before it started and things like that. Just an experience I will never forget. But I'm telling you, you guys will have so much fun with this movie. It's just oozing in Halloween, just drenched in the festivities, and it's funny, it's scary, it's creepy, it's gross, it's weird. It has something in it for everyone. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but this is not the type of thing to go into and pick apart, because if you understand what VHS movies are, I mean, there are a bunch of directors that come together, pick a theme, and try to make their own version of a little short movie to go along with that theme. And so you're always going to have some that are better than others. But I'm telling you, I had very little problems with anything in this. Instead, I just had a ball. So I think as long as you go into this looking to have fun, not looking to pick it apart and critique it or any of that, you're gonna have a great time with it. So I think it's a perfect pick for this Saturday night. So do yourself a favor this Halloween season, pick one of the movies off of this list, grab your popcorn and your candy corn, and enjoy! And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button, and remember guys, horror can be fun, and I'll see you all next time!